ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Kelsey Johnson. Welcome to Sports Friday. The Bahamas capturing a bronze medal led the World Rowing Championships. Emily Morley finished third in the women's single sculls FD final today. She crossed the finish line and stopped the clock at 8 minutes, 17.17 seconds. Michael Knowles just missed out on a medal, finishing up fourth in the men's single scull FG final. Knowles' time was 8 minutes, 28.23 seconds. The last time the Bahamas competed on the Olympic level in the sport of wrestling was in 1968. 49 years later, executives are hoping a couple of wrestlers can pin down qualifications for the 2020 Tokyo Games.
Perception in their mind. People are used to WWE and that sort of entertainment wrestling. Well, we concentrate on wrestling as an Olympic sport. And wrestling as an Olympic sport comes in two forms. There's freestyle wrestling and there's Greco-Roman wrestling. We do a bit of Greco-Roman, we concentrate on freestyle. But the point is that these are international sport competitions that are affiliated with the Olympic Games. And so ultimately, we want to make it to the Olympic Games. The Bahamas has not been a part of the Olympic Games in wrestling since 1968. In 1968, we had two brothers, Alexis and Robert Nihon, who represented the Bahamas at the Games. And so our goal is to get back there, and not only get back there, make the finals, and hopefully medal.
Wrestling is just not for the men. Women can get in on the action as well.
There's a tremendous potential for women in wrestling. The United World Wrestling Federation, which is the international federations that governs wrestling around the world, they are really interested in giving women equal opportunities. And so women who want to take part in the sport, represent their country, it's going to be great for them. If they want to be a part of this, there's a bright future for them.
The 45th edition of the Central American and Caribbean Bodybuilding and Fitness Championships has been canceled. The event was scheduled for Mexico. The decision was made earlier today. Joining me live in studio is President of the Bahamas Bodybuilding and Fitness Federation, Joel Stubbs. Welcome, Mr. Stubbs. Why was the CAC Championships canceled?
Yes, it was canceled this year due to the fact that the recent deadly devastation of the storms that passed through the Caribbean, and then, of course, the host country, Mexico, encountering two major earthquakes this year, definitely put everything to a stop.
How will this affect the Bahamas, and is there any other major regional or international competitions our bodybuilders and fitness persons will be heading to?
Yes, well, the team was definitely ready this year. We had an 18-member team. However, with the disappointment and the depression that they now undergo, we have been searching and just came up recently of a show that is happening this year in Toronto, Canada, the Ben Reader Legacy Cup. We have maybe some 10, 11 of the national team members will be going to that competition to compete to have a chance of getting professional status.
And finally, what is the mindset of the athletes now, knowing that they were preparing and they'll have to go back and prepare again?
Well, it's a misfortune and unfortunately they have to do it, but these athletes are troopers, have been in the game for quite some time. With the depression and the disappointment, I do see them really getting their act together. They know they have the Pharaoh Classic still on the line to do on the November 4th this year at the Performance Arts Center, and so they're still enthusiastic about still trying to do something this year before the year is out.
Thank you so much, Mr. Stubbs.
Yes,
to
you.
be young again and ball like you used to, well, Charles Fisher tells us in this report that those good old days are gone.
They like to call themselves weekend warriors. They believe the weekend is theirs, can play 2 or 3 sports one time. But in recent times, that has proven to be very dangerous, not only here but worldwide. According to fitness guru and former national basketball team guard, Craig Magic Walkian.
Typically, you have a male over 30, 40 years of age who used to be active, and he just feels that he still can do a lot of things that he used to do, and there's no training involved. He just goes out there, plays softball, basketball on the weekends, and it's really a disaster waiting to happen. Typically what happens, you rupture an Achilles tendon, you pull a muscle, more serious than that, actually. We've even had heart attacks with people who are not fit at all during the week, and then they just go out and they, take up this strenuous activity on the weekend.
Advice: be active at least 2 to 3 times a week.
30 minutes a day is awesome, right? So when you go out there to play softball or basketball, your body is accustomed to the stress. You're more in a better position to deal with whatever happens on the court or on the field. And the more, so it's all about lifestyle. And again, there's no quick fix, right? But if more men, particularly, and it does happen with women as well, but more men than women, if they would just adopt a healthy lifestyle, get active during the week, most days of the week, and then the weekends, they'll be fine.
Some excuse is that sports is their exercise after working every day all week.
That's a problem. That's a flawed statement in itself. You have to do something during the week. You cannot go out there and want to jump into an activity full speed on the weekend without being fit, without any kind of training, without your body being accustomed to that kind of activity. So, and they may be legitimate excuses. Most people are busy, they don't have time, but you have to be able to find 20, 30 minutes a day, fish in my mind, 3-4 times a week. And I think that takes care of the issue.
And those energy drinks? Oh, no.
Scientifically, they haven't been proven to be very beneficial. Actually, they can't hurt, because what they do, they speed up the heart rate. So if you have your heart rate is up already, there's too much stress on the heart, and so not a good mixture. Same thing with alcohol. Alcohol is lower and loaded with calories for one, and then it slows down your intuition, your instincts. So being out of shape, drinking, not a good combination at all. You're looking for an accident to happen.
Good advice for us men we should take into consideration. For Edna's Told Sports, I'm Charles Fisher.
Thanks so much, Fisher. Well, that's all the time we have for sports. I'm Kelsey Johnson.